doesn't really sound very nice, to be honest. Honesty without any sort of compassion sort of turns into cruelty. Hey you, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Jenny and I'm a licensed psychotherapist. Today we're breaking down another Am I the Asshole post, so if you're interested, keep on watching. Am I the asshole for calling my wife unreasonable for backing out of spending Christmas with my family after my mother rejected her cookie sample? Context: for every holiday, my mother would ask the women in the family, my sisters, sister-in-law, my wife, my female cousins, to send samples of the desserts they planned to bring to the celebration for testing and to see if these desserts could make it to the food menu. Does mom have the same taste buds as everyone in the family? Did this come to a vote? Who agreed to make mom the family taste maker? All right, let's keep reading. My wife has been complaining about my mother deliberately rejecting every dessert sample she sends. So many times my mother has told her that she's being honest and keeping the guests' best interests at heart. So isn't your wife also a guest? Yet my wife still thought that my mother is deliberately excluding her since 2 of her dessert samples were rejected before. This doesn't really sound very nice, to be honest. Because, okay, sure, be honest, but I feel like sometimes when people are like, oh, I'm just being honest, but honesty without any sort of compassion sort of turns into cruelty, especially if someone is trying several times to make something to make other people happy. I don't know. For this year's Christmas, my mother is doing the same thing, but this time she told every woman who are participating to make a cookie sample and send it to her for testing. My wife took it as a challenge, and to be honest, she worked really hard to make a good sample and sent it to my mother days ago, and the results just came in yesterday. This made me really sad because now your wife is really vying for her approval. Is it now any longer about feeding your loved ones a delicious dessert or now making mother-in-law happy? And your wife really worked hard on this. I came home from work and found my wife upset. I asked what's wrong, and she told me that my mother rejected the sample she sent and decided to exclude her from baking from the food list/menu for Christmas this year. On the most wonderful time of the year, I can't bake cookies for the family? I didn't know what to say, but she then told me she was backing out of the invitation to attend Christmas with my family. Listen, your wife tried many times. Sounds like she's starting to set some boundaries. I was stunned when I heard her make this statement. I tried to talk to her, but she said it was done. I called her unreasonable to decide to bail on the whole family over some cookie samples. Well, in reading this, it's really about her not feeling welcomed possibly in the family, because the thing is, cookies are cookies. Mother-in-law could have said, oh, I see your sample, maybe you could try adding this, I don't know, give feedback, or everybody just bring cookies and call it a day. Mother-in-law wasn't really being nice here. It sounds like the wife would have been interested, honestly, to get some guidance from mother-in-law, because she kept trying, and like you said, she worked really hard. But mother-in-law kept saying no, so she just finally gave up. She wasn't going to put her emotions through that. She decided to set her boundaries. Why go somewhere where you're not wanted? Maybe she's looking at the cookies like she's the cookie and mother-in-law doesn't want her there. We had a full-on argument about it, and she stated that my mother caused this, but I told her that my mother is pretty serious and careful about the food she offers to the guests since we are going to have relatives coming in from all sides of the country. She told me to stop mentioning it. If I am going to a dinner party, I am not expecting to like everything on the menu. And honestly, a mother-in-law should probably send some cookie samples too. I want to taste them. Who says her cookies are best? I just don't think that's nice. I think that, like I said, when I go to a restaurant, I'm not expecting to like everything on that menu. So I don't know who's expecting for everything to be perfect. The point of it is time for family. That's what the holidays are about. Spending time with the people you love and care about that you haven't seen in a while. And that's why a lot of times people don't want to see their family and people get anxious to go see family. As a therapist, a lot of times after the holidays are one of the busiest time for therapists because people are coming in to process things they've experienced with their family during the holidays. And sometimes people decide altogether not to attend, like the wife here has decided, because they're tired of being hurt. They want to feel safe. They want to have fun. They want to enjoy it. The cookie thing could have turned into a fun thing where they could do a cookie contest every year to see who wins the best cookie, not really exclude other people's cookies. Later, I heard her cry despite telling her that her baking is amazing and people have preferences, that's all. It's not people that have preferences. It's your mother that has that preference. Am I the asshole for insisting that her decision was unreasonable? When it comes to a relationship and you bring someone into your family and you love and care for this person, sounds like your spouse was excited to be a part of this tradition. Sounded like it was kind of fun at first until your mom started declining all the cookies and saying she couldn't participate. And then she makes a decision to stand up for herself after she feels like she's been hurt and you don't take her side. So further alienating her from your family. So there are some updates. 1, my wife wasn't the only one whose sample was rejected. We have sister-in-laws, brother's wife, and my younger sisters. Okay, so maybe mother-in-law wants to be the only one cooking. She doesn't think anyone could do it like her. 2, my mother did not force anyone to participate. It was up to whoever wanted to take part. While your mother may not have forced people to participate, she did create an environment that was competitive where people were looking for her approval, which people that are marrying into other people's families tend to have. They want to look good. They want to get along with their in-laws. So they're usually trying to put their best foot forward. And I know you mentioned your sister. Children often try to please their parents. This is just about the dessert, since my mother tends to be very careful in this category. But for other types of foods, dishes, appetizers, salads, stuff like that, that is welcomed, as she stated. Okay, yes, those things could be welcomed, but then you make a competition for the cookies, so people want to impress your mother. They want to. So what's the difference? Your mom wants to make the food great for all the people that are coming from all around the world, but just the cookies, just the dessert, the food can not be up to par. So they gave an update. Great. So I just got off the phone with my brother and he told me that his wife is doing the same thing as my wife and that she has decided to back out of the invitation to spend Christmas with my family as well. Turns out my wife must have told her about her decision and she decided to follow her lead. My brother is pissed, saying my wife is encouraging his wife to do this. I see that the problem has gotten bigger now. Who knows? My younger sister might join in and decide not to go as well. I don't know how this got out of control so quickly. I guess we'll have to have the discussion with my mother about this soon and see how it goes. And that was the last update. I wish there was more of an update because I love to see people unionizing when they feel like they're being unfairly treated. But before we got all the way here to, unionizing is for the workplace. But before we got all the way here, I wish the original poster sat down with his mother and explained how his spouse was feeling. Because his mother created an environment of competition of people also vying for her approval. And I tried to look at it, maybe those weren't her intentions, but you're only setting up the contest for the cookies and the desserts, but not the food. I will say that he needs to stand up for his spouse. And I think a lot of times people try to mediate and say, well, just don't bake. Don't worry about it. Your cookies are great. I love them. But from what I'm seeing, it seems like the wife wanted him to probably stand up for her, make her feel comfortable. So it is important for the spouse to stand up for the wife and tell his mother that the competition is possibly unfair. Because the very idea to me to come up with a contest to cook something, to be auditioned for a family event doesn't make the best sense. Now, if we're doing a family thing where we're all baking cookies and for voting who makes the best cookies. Sure, a cookie off. That sounds like a great tradition. But to ask people to see who's going to bake for you to decide just can be alienating. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree? I will say that I'm wondering if he and his spouse sat down to really talk about what the goal is here. What does the spouse want? What does she want? Does she want him to stand by her side? Does she want him to talk to his mother? What would make her feel comfortable? I think they need to sit down and discuss that and break that down and talk about it, just because we want people feeling comfortable, especially during the holidays. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you. As always, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I look forward to chatting with you all in the comments. Bye now.